Player comparisons, Dalton Knecht edition. Super fun player. We have a scouting report up of Dalton on the channel as well. Today, we are going to each give a best case player comparison and a worst case player comparison at the NBA level for Dalton. We'll try to convince each other that our comp is better than their comp. And by the end of this, we will have consensus player comparisons. You can go first, Riley. What is the best case scenario comparison for Dalton Knecht?
So my best case is J.R. Smith, and I could see this playing out for Connect, where you remember like old school J.R. Smith when he was on the Nuggets. He wasn't just a shooter, like he was throwing down some sick dunks, sort of became like a second or third option on the Knicks. Uh, and then eventually settled into his role as a bench guy for LeBron and the Cavs and got a ring. I could see Connect having a similar trajectory where he has super exciting highlights early on in his career. Teams probably don't do a ton of winning, but maybe later on as his career progresses, you could see him share the court with like a Luka Doncic or Giannis, and he's just the sixth or seventh man on that team who's coming off the bench to get buckets and hopefully gets a ring in the process.
Okay, I love the career trajectory arc of JR where it's like fun loser into like no, helpful winner. I could
Mm-hmm.
100% see that playing out for Dalton as well. Also looking through JR's numbers, a lot better than I remembered. Like early in his career, I didn't realize he had like an 18 a game season with the
Mm-hmm.
Knicks. Yeah, I could see that. And JR never really brought anything else to the table either. It was basically just his scoring and just his shooting. Um, Maybe my one pushback on this at all, it's the only pushback I have. I think Dalton might be a better shooter than JR on paper. Maybe already. Because
What was
part of JR's thing was how tough the shots were, but he was like never
right?
a guaranteed 40% guy, was he?
I don't think so. Yeah, it was more so like he could go 0 for 7, but then he could go 7 for 10,
Yeah.
flip a
Yeah.
game on its head.
Which is fun, and I think that's a really good comp. I really do. I just the only pushback would be like maybe just a proven shooter, but a better shooting J.R. Smith is like a stud, so I like that. All right, I did the trope, I did the thing you're not supposed to do, but I think it's accurate. I think Gordon Hayward is the best case scenario for Dalton. Big wing, like he's strong. You're not worried about him like getting overpowered physically. He has height. He can rebound a little bit. But the reality of this is that Gordon Hayward was like an all-around star for much of his career before he ended up going to Boston and getting hurt. He only made one All-Star team, but that All-Star season was really special. His final year in Utah as a 26-year-old, 22 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 40% from three. Like to me, that is the exact best case scenario you're looking for Dalton.
Mm.
And I think Gordon had a lot of the same questions Dalton did coming out of college, where it's like, oh, he was a total bucket, but come on, like, come on here. That's not going to translate. He's a white wing, he's big, and ultimately the size mattered. He really was a 6'8" guard. And to me, that is what Dalton Knecht is. So it took him some time. It took him 6 years in the NBA to become that all-star. Dalton, I think, might be a little more ready since he's older right now, but I really think their games are similar.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I really just struggle to see Connect getting the opportunity to ever be a 22 a game scorer. I don't know. Like, and with Hayward too was the playmaking, which admittedly, I just his Butler stats, the most assists he ever averaged at Butler in 2 years theirs was two. So like that was going to be my main pushback was we didn't really see much playmaking, much creating for others from Connect this past season. But you could argue like Hayward didn't do that a ton either and became a four. Even there's 1 year, 2014, where Hayward averaged 5 assists. Like that would be a massive jump for him from Connect. And I don't know. I just think he's more wired to score than Hayward was, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I guess I see that as the absolute best case, but I would say that's like a 1 in 200 chance.
Yeah, no, it is a 1 in 200 chance for sure. But that's the way I approach this. Is like, what's the 1 out of 1,000 chance? We can decide at the end here. Let's go to worst case comparison for Dalton. What do you got?
Mine was Furkan Korkmaz, which like just pick a nondescript wing who like can occasionally dunk on somebody and is a really streaky shooter and can do a little bit in the mid range. And I landed on Korkmaz as like I think there's a world where the defensive issues, defensive concerns for Connect keep him from ever getting consistent minutes. and he's sort of relegated into this bench role, never finds his rhythm, doesn't really have stuff ran for him. Like his coach isn't dialing up those double screens that Rick Barnes would for him to get the ball. Like he just kind of has to fit in, and we see him become more of like a 30% 3-point shooter than the high 30s, low 40s that we hope.
The biggest issue with the Furcon comp is that Dalton Knecht is never going to grow a beard, as far as I know, and that's massive. That's a huge part of who Furcon is. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. I don't dislike that one. I once again went really tropey. I'm sorry. Doug McDermott. Doug McDermott, Dougie McBuckets. What does he have in common with Dalton? Oh, he was like a one of one, once every 10 years elite college scorer. Really? No way. He played on an offense that just wanted him to shoot 25 times a game. Whoa, no way. That was cool. 6'6" small forward who you had no questions was the best shooter in the draft. At worst, he's going to be a knockdown shooter in the league, and that's it. And that warrants a lottery pick. Well, in reality, Doug McDermott got to the league. He can't do anything but shoot. He cannot do anything but shoot. He can't defend. He can't pass. He can't dribble. He barely rebounds. I think there are questions like that with Dalton where, other than rebounding, which you think at least has some level of floor, he might not even dribble in the NBA. He might just be relegated to a complete shooter. To me, I see a 1-for-1 perfect worst case with Doug McDermott.
Even if he is Doug McDermott, like that's not that bad. Like McDermott got some playoff minutes this past year.
And I think that would speak to me to like Dalton has a relatively high floor. Like I don't think there's a world where Dalton is like not on an NBA roster in 5 seasons because that his scoring and shooting is actually that special.
Let me see. Like I think Connect is a much better athlete than McBuckets, though, don't you think?
He is definitely bouncier for
Like
sure.
McDermott was kind of tubby. That was his not coming into the league. Was that he needed to lose weight.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, Dalton is pretty chiseled. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, McDermott only had 9 dunks his last year at Creighton. Compare
Mm,
that to 29 for Connect.
okay. Um, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Riley. This is the first video I've liked my comps better than yours. I will be willing to concede one of these two if you'll concede one, though. I think I feel better about JR. Like, I think
I love the
JR,
JR comp so much, but yours is more like optimistic that he could be like an all-star type player. But
it
I
is.
can't see him becoming an all-star. So I'll concede you can have Tubby McBuckets and I'll take JR.
All right, we'll do J.R. Smith and Doug McDermott as our consensus. Thank you for watching. That was fun. I really like talking about Dalton Connect. 74 more of these on the channel right now, or coming out, 5 per day. We have 10 up right now. Go watch them on the Sleepers Media channel. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/nba-mini-games.